Now we're studying systematic theology. Systematic theology. What does systematic theology mean?
Looking at things systematically, so in order.
Okay, systematic theology. What does that mean?
The study of God in order.
An order or a system of studying God, okay? Now we're in Revelation, the 9th chapter, and also we're in Isaiah, the 63rd chapter. So let's go to Isaiah 63 quickly. If you have a Bible, if you don't, shame on you. Out there in the world. Who is he who comes from Edom, with garments of glowing colors from Bozrah? This one who is majestic in his apparel, matching in the greatness of his strength. It is I who speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Why is your apparel red, and your garments like one who treads in the winepress? I have trodden down the wine trough alone, and from the peoples there was no man with me, and I also trod them in my anger. And I trampled them in my wrath, and their life's blood is sprinkled on my garments, and I stained all my raiment. For the day of vengeance was in my heart, and my year of redemption has come. And I looked, and there was no one to help, and I was astonished that there was no one to uphold. Now he starts a new subject right there. Back up here, from Edom to Bozrah, it's basically 200 miles is what this battlefield is going to be, 200 miles long.
Those are
And what?
Those are city names?
Yes. Now we're going to go to Revelation, the 19th chapter also, or 9th chapter, that is. But I want to tell you something about these beasts that are turned loose out of bottomless pit.
Okay.
First of all, they are angels, fallen angels, and demons. If you want to play around and write a book on fallen angels and demons.
Okay.
And spirits, okay?
That's a hardcore book.
That's going to be a book, all right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to give you some facts about fallen angels and demons.
Okay.
All fallen angels and demons lost their original holiness. When they became corrupt in nature, in Genesis 1 and 2, that's what they did. They tore up the earth. They tore up the heavens. We don't know how much of that. Matthew 10 and 1 and Ephesians 6, 11 and 12 tell us about their activity in the world today. They're very active in the world. You look on the Democratic convention, the Republican convention, where they tried to kill my cousin Rand Paul, whether you knew about that or not. Yeah, okay. And all the other upheavals from coast to coast is all demonic in its origins and source. They used the death of one man, which actually was a criminal, to kill many people and rob and pillage. That is by no chance. It happens by plan. Some of these demons and fallen angels were cast down to the abyss, or the bottomless pit. And they're be held there in chains until this period of time we're talking about. And they're going to be turned loose. Now, all of these things that came out of there, these beasts that came out of there, were all predators. What is a predator? What does a predator look like? They said they had the face of a man.
They got eyes in the center and not the sides.
Okay, they have eyes looking forward, one direction, because they're a predator.
Right.
They don't have to look behind them. A chicken or something, an owl is a predator. An owl has its face like this, like the face of a man. It's a predator. You look at a chicken, you look at an ostrich or something, and they're seeing 360 degrees basically all the time. What?
As a horse, he's kind of
A horse, yeah, he's prey. Yeah, they have eyes like this. These are predators that we have come out here. They have faces like man. They're faces of a predator. Some of these fallen angels and spirits were cast down according to Jude 6 and 2 Peter 2 and 4 and Revelation 9, 1 through 11. They had been put into the bottomless pit and held there until this period of time because they're too dangerous to turn loose on mankind. Now, all of this upheaval and hellishness from coast to coast and all over the world today, in the Islamic world and in Catholicism, the Catholic world in the Dark Ages, was all under the auspices of the dark side of the universe, evil. True religion does not kill people. True religion does not steal and rob and rape and pillage. The Catholic Church instituted indulgences so their soldiers could go do what they wanted to and rape and pillage and rob and steal and be forgiven for that. You go back to the valleys of the Piedmont and you go back in there where they killed, raped, and then ate women. They roasted them, their breasts, and ate them. This happened. Muhammad and his soldiers went and raped and pillaged and robbed and stole and kidnapped and tortured people. That's what they did. That's what ISIS does today, isn't it? This is from the dark side. It's not from light. It's from the dark side. Some of these fallen angels and demons are left free and engage in definite opposition to the work of God, good angels, and of God's people. Revelation 12, 7 through 9, Daniel 10, 12 through 21, Jude 9, Ephesians 2 and 2, Ephesians 6, 11 and 12 again. We're going to talk about these bad angels and this battlefield here. Evil angels played a part in the ruination and destitution of the original creation of God. Genesis 1 and 2, Revelation 12, 8 and 9, Isaiah 14, 12 through 17, Ezekiel 28, 12 through 19. The final abode of all wicked angels and demons shall be the lake of fire. Over there, on that. It is a place where they will be held and justice will be carried out. Hell is a necessity, by the way. There wouldn't be any justice if there wasn't hell. After death, people do not turn into angels or demons, nor spirits of any kind like that. A mankind is triune in nature. You are body, you are spirit, and you are soul. Your spirit is what gives you life. When a person dies in a state of outside of grace, let's put it that way, with unsaved, they go to Hades until they are judged. Hades is not purgatory.
Is the place asked about?
Hades, yeah. Hades is Sheol. Sheol is the place asked about. Hades is the place not seen.
Not seen.
Satan angels control armies and nations. Daniel 7, 15 through 28, Daniel 10, 7 through 13, Joel 3, 9 through 17. Mighty ones. Wicked angels and demons sometimes do God's bidding in tormenting people. You copy that?
Yeah.
Psalm 78, 49, Revelation 9 and 1, 1 Kings 22 and 23, and 1 Samuel 16, 14 and 19 and verse 9. Wicked angels and demons sometimes do God's bidding in tormenting people. Wicked angels and demons can inflict disease. All disease are mutated life forms. Viruses, all that, this coronavirus is a mutated life form. Matthew 9:33, Job 1, 5 through 10, Matthew 12:22, Luke 9:37 through 42, and Luke 13:11 through 16, Matthew 4:24, 8:16, 9:20 through 35, and Mark 1:32 through 34. Demons can cause mental disorders.
That's true. There's plenty of those for.
There's a lot of that around today.
Right now.
Demons can cause mental disorders. Mark 5:4 and 5, Luke 8 and 35. If people surrender to God, they can be healed from this. Demons lead out in moral impurity and filthy raving and riots. Matthew 12:43 and 10 and 1. Mark 1:23 through 27. Luke 4:33 through 36. Acts 5:16 and 17. Revelation 16 and 13. Leviticus 18:6 through 30. And Enoch chapter 10, if you want to read that. They always lead out in sexual impurity, drugs, and drug abuse, what you might call homosexuality, and prostitution. Prostitution, homosexuality, and drug addicts all kind of run together, don't they? You see how that runs together in society?
Yeah.
Demons are the authors of false doctrine and false religions. Buddha just didn't get there by himself. Muhammad didn't get there by himself. Charles Taze Russell didn't get there by himself. Alexander Campbell didn't get there by himself. Mary Baker Eddy didn't get there by herself.
There's a lot of them.
Joseph Smith didn't just do that all on his own. Many others. 1 Kings 22, 21 through 24, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 2, 1 Timothy 4 and 1, 2 Thessalonians 2, 11 and 12, the doctrines of demons, Paul said. Demons oppose children of God in their spiritual progress. Ephesians 6, 10 through 13, and Luke 22, 31. The Lord Jesus Christ looked at Peter and says, when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. Did he not say that or not? He told him one time right after he said, I'm the rock, you are the little stone, Matthew 16, 18. Right after that he told him, get behind me, Satan. Satan is using you and filling your heart. Satan was there. Satan was there in the Garden of Gethsemane with Judas Iscariot. Demons desire to dwell in human or animal flesh. Matthew 4:24, Mark 5:18 through 14, Luke 8 and 2, Acts 8 and 7, Acts 16 and 16. You want to know how you hear about these people helping in seances, helping the law enforcement find people?
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah.
About the remote viewing.
Yeah, well, Acts 16:16. Yes. It's not of God.
That's what you call paranormal stuff. No?
Yes, it is paranormal. Demons and angels are paranormal.
Yeah. And you're normal.
Demon, what we call normal, is that we live in this 3 dimensions. They go between dimensions. They can go through all 10 dimensions or however many dimensions there are. Angels are not held by our, what we call physical boundaries that mankind is.
Was para before or near, though?
What?
Para, is it before or near? Paranormal, para.
Oh, paranormal, beside normal.
Beside normal.
Demons possessed and filled, and demons oppress, and demons prosecute and persecute people. The Antichrist himself, according to 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3 through 10, shall be demon-filled or devil-filled. He will be a son of Satan. Judas was devil-filled. Luke 22:3 and John 13:3. Acts 16:16, this very famous girl, maiden, was demon-filled because she could prophesy. When Paul cast the demon out of her, they were very mad because they were going to lose a lot of money because she could not do anything anymore. She was possessed by a python, the great python, the great snake.
Pythia, right?
We have a pythona. Demon oppression. 1 Samuel 16:14. Luke 22:31, Matthew 16:23, and 2 Corinthians 12:7-10. Demons are active in witchcraft and fortune-telling and tarot cards and palm reading and all of that. And guess who were the originators of the tarot cards?
The Catholic or Muslim?
The Jews.
The Jews, okay.
And the palm reading, the Jews.
Of course.
Acts 16:16, Isaiah 41:13, Ezekiel 12:21, Deuteronomy 32:17, Leviticus 19:31. I hope you're taking all this down, see.
I got most of it.
1 Samuel 28:3-9, Deuteronomy 18:10-12, 2 Kings 21:6, and 2 Kings 23:24, 1 Chronicles 10:13, 2 Chronicles 33:6, and Isaiah 19:3-14.
Could you go a little faster?
He's gotten really good at navigating your website.
Yeah, that's good.
So he'll get it later.
God shall extensively use demons to torment mankind during the tribulation period, Revelation 9:1. Okay? Demon oppression is a temporary operation of demons from without, but demon possession is a more permanent operation from within the soul of men. Now, what is the largest religion in the world?
Well, that's tough.
That's easy. It's easy.
Islam or Buddhism?
Islam.
Islam.
There's 1.8 to 2.1 billion Muslims in the world
How many Catholics?
of various degrees.
There's a lot of Catholics too.
Probably maybe,
1.5?
no. I would say probably around maybe a billion, maybe. One, maybe. But that's probably Christians, very few.
What about the Chinese though? Don't they have something over there they're looking at?
So some of the Chinese are Islam also. You have to remember that. Same thing with Koreans, same thing all over the world, the Africans. All of those nations, and they were all Christian at one time. Christ was presented to all these people at one time.
At the Pentecost? Or, yeah.
When the church was scattered, they went all over, study the lives of the apostles. I'm going to do that, the lives of apostles. If the Lord tarries or allows me to tarry here, I'm going to do different characters of the Bible. And I'll start out with the apostles. We see the horses and the riders in this great vision in Revelation 9 and 17. We find out in 9:18 that ancient warfare was not fought like it's describing here. It's different. They didn't have gunpowder. And they're smelling sulfur all over from gunpowder. And they're talking about plagues. And they're talking about pestilence. And they're talking about disease and viruses. We're just getting started. I don't know whether God's churches ever will be the same. I don't think they will ever be the same. I don't think we'll ever have the freedom of running around and going place to place and from church to church, because I think we're going to have one virus right after another.
They're already talking about
And-
COVID-20.
Yeah. We have all of this to face, and this is pre-tribulation. This is just previews of coming attractions. That's all. Remember when you used to go to the show and sit there and they have previews of coming attractions? And they'd show you for 15 or 20 minutes all these little previews of coming attractions. What we're seeing here with COVID-19, COVID-20, the SARS virus, all of this is previews of coming attractions of what's going to happen. It says here that it's talking basically about cannons and gun barrels. and smoking guns in Revelation, the 19th chapter, or 9th chapter. In verse number 20 it says, and I'm going to read this from the Greek, translated so it may not be real smooth. In order that they now shall not bend the knee and worship demons. They wouldn't give it up. It says the rest of the remaining ones of mankind, they were killed by the plagues, by the plagos. The plagos is the same as we get the word plague from. Most medical terms and scientific terms come from Greek. And these plagues, it says, they plagues, and it's plural. It's not singular. It's not one plague. It's many plagues, many diseases. Neither they repented or changed their mind to leave the works of the hands of them, in order that they should worship demons. They wanted to worship demons, and they wanted to worship idols. And it said here, angels and idols made of gold and silver and bronze and stone and of different kinds of wood. It says they are caused to see, neither to hear, and they've spread themselves around, to walk around, to spread yourself around, doing evil. That's all they do is evil.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds about right like now.
Now, the army that it talks about here in the 9th chapter of the book of Revelation, how many soldiers, how many cavalrymen are in this army?
Over 1 billion, right? I mean,
No.
No?
200 million.
200 million.
200 million. What is does the Catholic Church have 200 million people? I don't think so. I don't think it put 200 million soldiers in the field.
But India does.
How about Islam? India is Islam.
That's part of it. Yeah, and China does.
China? But this army is going to be 200 million strong. What is the only religious source can keep 200 million men in the army, in the field? Islam. Really. That's the only religious group, and this is a religious group, people. It's not a military thing. And by the way, Islam is not a religion. In all reality, is it? It is a political, governmental force.
Like Catholicism.
Yeah. Church state. They don't understand anything but church state. The state and the church. In Islam, the whole idea, in 633 A.D., Muhammad declared war on the world. Before he died, he declared war on the world.
It's still going.
It's still going.
Continuous revelation.
He said, go out and conquer and conquer and conquer. Don't leave one infidel, one non-believer. Conquer the world. Now, sometimes Islam has been stronger and sometimes Islam has been bigger. The Ottoman Empire ruled basically the whole Western world at one time, from the Middle East to Europe into Spain, for hundreds of years. Where was a great Christian stronghold? Where was that Christian stronghold? The major Christian stronghold? Who's the book of Revelation written to? Who's it written to? Come on now. Who's the book of Revelation written to? Who is described in the 2nd and 3rd chapter of the book of Revelation to the 7 churches of what?
Asia.
Asia. Where is that?
Asia, it was in Iraq and Middle East.
Turkey.
Turkey, Istanbul, yeah, well, the same thing, right?
That's it.
Byzantine Empire.
No, not the Byzantine. It was, but it was the Christian empire at that time. You have to realize these were Christians. They weren't Byzantine. They were Christians. Before the Byzantine and before the Roman Catholic Church, there were Christians.
Okay.
And in those 7 churches of Asia, they were Christians. But now all of that whole area is not Christian, is it? In Turkey, we had a great mass genocide. Millions of people were killed that were Christians. They came and they settled Farmersville and Tulare and Wasco and Shafter. These were the farmers, remember?
You're talking about those people from Russia?
I'm talking about the people from Turkey from Armenia. The Armenians. The Armenians, all up and down from here to Fresno, Merced, all up to the Armenia. These people came from there because they were murdered.
They're devil worshippers.
They were murdered.
The Armenians are devil worshippers.
They were murdered.
But aren't the Armenians...
The Armenians, many of them were Christians. The valleys of the Piedmont were inhabited by Armenians of the 7 churches of Asia. They went all the way into Russia. They went into China. They went into Germany, and they became known as the Mennonites and the Amish. They were different. They tried to be different. They tried to exist. They didn't want to fight in wars, did they? No.
They're not supposed to.
They didn't want to. Because to them, all wars were started by religions, people. There wasn't anything but religious wars. Religion has started more wars in the world than anything.
Water and religion, is that the number one?
Catholicism. Muhammad learned what he learned from Catholicism. His time is born 570 A.D. When did the Catholic Church begin? 325 A.D. by who? Constantine. And they went out conquering to conquer and going to convert the world by the sword. Well, what did Muhammad do? His religion didn't go over too good because it's not really an intellectual religion. It is kind of a superstitious, it is a combination of Dark Age superstition. That's what it is. And control freak business.
It's legalism, basically.
It's all legalism. You have to wipe yourself when you go to the bathroom according to Muhammad. In 3s, odd numbers. I mean, everything. How do you make love to your wife? Everything is all controlled by him.
By Muhammad?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He was the greatest man that ever lived, according to them.
So he's just following the rabbinical laws, right, of the Jews, right? Or is it the Catholics?
What?
He's following the rabbinical laws of them, right? That's how he got all these laws, right?
No, there were other laws. There were the laws of the nomads. There was the laws of Karami and Hammurabi and all of that. And then, yes, Arabia was Christian, people. There were a few wild Arab tribes, but Arabia was Christianized. Syria was Christian. The greatest stronghold, Christian stronghold, was in Damascus, Syria. Guess who went there?
Paul.
The Apostle Paul. And there was a church already there, wasn't there? He went there to kill Christians. What Muhammad heard was from the Gnostics and the Catholics, and I'm sure he heard Christians speaking also. By the way, he didn't have to read and write to be able to study the Bible. They spoke the Bible on every street corner, in every alley. Angel activity, demon activity in this period of time was tremendous. It shall be tremendous. We see demon activity in the world today. Anarchy, riots, drug abuse, prostitution, robbery. All of these things have demonic sources. How did Muhammad support his religion? Criminal activity.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's criminal activity. What did they do? How did they support the religion? Go out, rob, pillage, rape, and steal, and kidnap, and then ask for ransom. One of his soldiers came to him one time and told him, Master, Apostle, what shall we do? We have captured all these women. Now, some of them look real good. Now, we know that we can have sex with these women. We can rape these women. It's okay with you. Oh, yes, absolutely. But we have a question now. Now, they could be ransomed. But now, when we have sex with these women, should we withdraw so we won't leave seed in them, or should we just go ahead and do what we're going to want to do? He said, just go ahead and finish it. because God knows his and whatever. Well, he said they might not pay as much ransom if they're pregnant with us. He said, let God take it. Let Allah take care of it. That's part of their wages, was raping and stealing. And he said, now you go out and rape and steal and pillage, but you come back here and you give me 20% of everything that you have and don't leave one thread or one needle. If you get somebody's sewing kit, don't you leave out one thread or one needle. Not one pair of shoes. You're going to have to tithe to me 20% on all of it. And the Catholic Church invented the ability to forgive sins. You're immune to what you do. So they can pay their soldiers by raping and pillaging. That's it. Revelation 10:1 says, and I saw another angel sitting and coming down out of heaven, and having been clothed around with a cloud, and a rainbow upon his head, and the face of him as the sun, and the feet of him as pillars of fire. This is quite a description, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's got a face of him like the sun, and his feet like pillars of fire. What metal is the color of fire?
What metal?
Iron,
No, not iron.
copper.
Basically brass, which is copper and iron. It's the color of fire. Brass is the color of what? Judgment. I mean, it's a metal. Brass is a type of judgment in the Bible. There's red brass and there's yellow brass. And red brass and yellow brass both look like fire, don't they? They have the color of fire. This angel comes down, and he's got the face like the sun, the Helios. A strong angel. He's been clothed with a cloud. What other building in the Bible was clothed with a cloud?
Was their building was close to the cloud?
Clothed with a cloud.
Tabernacle?
That's right. You got it right.
Yeah,
A plus for now. If you don't get a bad score here in a minute, you've got an A plus so far.
Okay.
And the temple was completely engulfed in a cloud, wasn't it?
There's a skin in.
And the tabernacle. But what was the cloud? What was the cloud? What was it? It's a Shekinah glory of God. There, got another A plus. He's doing all right. And upon the head of him is an iris. Iris. What is an iris?
Flower.
Well, it's a flower, but what is an iris in your human body? Brett,
Eye.
it's the color of your eye, isn't it?
Oh, mhm.
Yeah, it's the color of eyes. People have blue eyes, they have green eyes, they have brown eyes, they have hazel eyes, they have different color eyes, don't they? In my family, my great-great-great-grandfather was Scots, and he had steel gray eyes. Now, American Indians are very dominant. Their black hair is dominant, and their brown eyes are dominant. But in Sam Paul, when he married Ilatika Moshukchu, the children had gray eyes, steel gray eyes. They had steel gray eyes.
Stevie.
Those steel gray eyes came all the way down for generations. And he had red hair. And I had one great uncle and one great aunt, which were his grandchildren. They're Indians, but they have red hair. But all of them, even the ones that are very dark, have steel gray eyes. That iris. And now, when I was young, I had very, very very, very dark brown eyes. And my eyes now are turning gray.
Mine are going floaters. I got floaters.
Now that's in your pupil. But my eyes are turning gray all the way back to my great, great, great grandfather. Fading out. Some of the hair on my arm is red. From Smith Paul, all the way back. A long way. The iris, the rainbow. God is called the covenant-keeping God when we see a rainbow in the clouds every time, don't we?
Yeah.
Every time. We see rainbow in the clouds. Well, that's the message for right now. We're going to stop right there. And if you're out there and you have not come to know Jesus Christ in your life, you've got a lot to face out there if the world ends with Christians going up today. You are in a lot of trouble. It's not that you can't be saved, but you get to go through all of this terrible things. Because demons are going to control the world for 3.5 years, the first 3.5, and they're going to extremely control the world and torment mankind for the last 3.5 years, which is 7 years of hell on earth. Do you want that?
I got a question.
Yes.
Trump and the people in the White House said that they had peace in the Middle East for the first time in a long time. Is that? And it's been 3.5 years.
I wouldn't believe everything you hear.
Okay.
Okay? I wouldn't believe everything because I don't think there's going to be peace in the Middle East, do you?
Well, I don't know.
No. What does the Bible say?
I thought it said it was supposed to be at the end.
No. At the end time, there will be peace in the Middle East for the first 3.5 years of the tribulation period when they build a temple in Jerusalem. Yeah, but it's only temporary peace, and that's when Islam and Muslims, the Muslims in Israel get together, and that's what we call Hudna. What's Hudna? Remember what Hudna is? That's a temporary covenant until you get stronger than the other guy, and then you get to cut his throat because he's off guard. That's Hudna. It was Hudna with Mecca. All right? It's been Hudna all the way through history with Islam. Let's have a word of prayer. Father, thank you for your word, and thank you for watching over us. Thank you for this message you give to us today, that we'll take it to heart and live it. Father, thank you for all the blessings you give us, and thank you for our company today. And I pray for all those out there, all of my students all over the world, that you keep them safe during this terrible time of disease and viruses and also religious persecution, because I know these words go back beyond the Muslim curtain where they cannot be Christians openly. I pray for those especially that you touch their lives and protect them in every way.